Hi, this is Carlos Cousins. This is a writing question asking us to assess the grammatical validity of the underlined portion of a given statement. For this sort of question, what you want to do is read the statement to yourself, try to make sense of what it might have meant to the person that originally wrote it, and then immediately consider the answer choices for their grammatical validity. So we're going to go ahead and do that together. While almost entirely aquatic, whales and dolphins are mammals and thus share ancestors with horses and wolves. So the idea is that even though they live underwater almost exclusively, whales and dolphins are also mammals, and so somewhere on their biological ancestry tree, they're going to share an ancestor with land mammals such as horses and wolves. Well, if you consider the first answer choice here, while almost, and you thought it was wrong, and that's why you're watching this video, the problem was that you probably felt a little queasy about the fact that this sentence wasn't following the usual order of English sentences, and that it didn't start with a subject followed by a verb and then an object. What you want to do when you see something that after a comma at the beginning of a sentence is going to have that order. So here, for example, we can see subject being whales and dolphins, the verb here being are, and then the object being mammals. You can assume that that portion of the sentence is going to then be describing the subject following the comma. And if that is the case, then you know that you're going to be fine and that that's going to be grammatically correct. And that's because this portion of the sentence is actually interchangeable with what follows the subject. So for example, if you had if you didn't have while at the beginning, but you had it after whales and dolphins, so you have whales and dolphins, comma, while almost entirely aquatic, comma, are mammals, that probably would feel okay to you. There's absolutely no difference between having it before or after the subject. Both are grammatically correct. So that's why this is the right answer choice. But we're going to go ahead and consider the others just to see why those don't work, just in case you picked one of those. So whereas almost. Well, the problem with whereas here is that it's going to require that you're making a comparison. And you're really not comparing, that means, that you're going to have something that is going to be inherently different in one way or another from something else in the comparison that you're making. But we're told here that whales and dolphins are very much like other mammals, horses and wolves. There's no difference between them. They're both mammals and share an ancestor together. So there's really no difference in the comparison we're making. So that's why that's not the right answer. Since they are entirely aquatic, well, since here would imply that it would imply causality. It would mean that only because they live in the water, whales and dolphins are mammals. So that's why that one doesn't make any sense. Despite their habitat remaining entirely aquatic. Well, despite their habitat would mean that the reader is making the assumption that aquatic animals cannot be mammals. And that's not necessarily fair because we don't know that the author intended that meaning. And since their habitat is entirely aquatic, makes the same mistake that option C made, in that the fact that they live underwater isn't really cause enough for them to be mammals. In fact, we're told that horses and wolves are mammals and they live on land. So I hope that explains why this is the right answer choice. Happy prepping.